Normal life is sold to you as a shelter, but shelters are built for storms, not for living. Stay long enough, and the walls become your cage. You noticed this early, not because you were special, but because you refused to look away. Every morning you watch people walk into their routines like prisoners who thank the guard. Same hours, same paths, same ambitions trimmed down to fit inside approval. They call it stability. You recognize it as anesthesia. Normality isn't neutral, it is engineered. It whispers, be reasonable, be safe, don't risk too much. It never whispers, be alive. You see the contract hidden beneath comfort, unsigned, inescapable. Obedience in exchange for predictability. Silence in exchange for belonging. A smaller life in exchange for fewer surprises. Most people accept without reading. They mistake repetition for security. They mistake fear for wisdom. They mistake survival for success. You don't hate them. You study them. You watch how comfort dulls the senses. How routine softens the will. How predictability turns years into static. Time passes unnoticed when nothing inside you is allowed to resist. They don't look miserable. That's the genius of it. They look sedated. Dreams shrink politely. Anger learns manners. Curiosity dies first, quietly, without witnesses. They laugh at safe jokes, speak in approved opinions, wear masks so long their faces forget what honesty felt like. Normal life doesn't crush people. It domesticates them. You understand power better than most. Not the loud kind, the efficient kind. Real power doesn't use chains. It builds habits. It doesn't shout orders. It designs incentives. A system doesn't fear rebels. It fears people who don't need permission, so it rewards predictability, promotes compliance, calls obedience maturity. Those who obey are labeled responsible. Those who hesitate are labeled weak. Those who resist are labeled dangerous. Language sharpens the knife first. You notice how fear dresses well. It calls itself a career, a mortgage, a plan. Fear learns professionalism. Fear smiles. People say, I can't afford to risk it. What they mean is, I'm afraid to own my choices. Freedom demands responsibility. Comfort demands only obedience. Most choose the softer demand. You are not heroic. You don't want to save anyone. You don't give speeches. You simply refuse to sleep. And that alone makes you unsettling. Awake people slow the machine. They hesitate where others comply. They ask questions that cost efficiency. You see how society punishes self-direction quietly. Not with violence, but with distance, raised eyebrows, polite concern, withdrawn approval. Approval is the real currency. Money just makes it visible. Lose approval and people panic. Not because they'll starve, but because they'll be seen. Normal life promises invisibility. Blend in. Don't disturb the silence. Don't challenge the script. You know the cost of that promise. It takes your edges, your teeth, your voice. You trade instinct for acceptance, meaning for certainty. Certainty is addictive. Certainty tells you what tomorrow looks like. Meaning forces you to build it. Most people don't want to build. They want instructions. They want rules clear enough to blame later. If life disappoints them, at least it won't be their fault. That is the deepest comfort. The comfort of irresponsibility. You arrive at a colder realization. Comfort isn't just tempting. It is theft. It steals ambition slowly. Time quietly. The self without resistance. By the time people notice, they defend the cage. They decorate it. They call it home. You watch people protect lives they secretly resent. You watch instinct get silenced for acceptance. Fire turns into routine, then nostalgia, then bitterness. They say, this is just how life is. You hear surrender. Life isn't like that. People make it like that. The system doesn't need villains. It needs people tired enough to stop questioning. You feel no rage. Rage is inefficient. You feel clarity. Comfort is not peace. It is a sedative. Normality is not safety. It is obedience wearing a friendly face. Freedom is not happiness. It is exposure. To live awake means no guarantees, no applause, no permission. Meaning is heavier than certainty and far less forgiving. You pay the price. Loneliness, doubt, risk. But your silence is chosen. Your steps are your own. One night, watching the city dim itself into synchronized sleep, you understand the final truth. Most people don't fear death. They fear standing alone without a script. And the most dangerous life is not the chaotic one. It is the comfortable one that quietly erases you. Because in the end, comfort doesn't kill you. It convinces you that you were never alive.